Hi everyone, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can use the Storylines API in order to create powerful automated video contents. You can organize your library, your media. It can act as an advanced search tool to search through thousands of media files that you have. It's pretty powerful, and I'm going to show you how you can set it up and use it. Start using it and also learn about it more. So of course, in front of me I have three tabs open right here. So I have, of course, the app.storylinads.com, the main website, the main app, and I have our GitHub. This is the Storylines SDK. It's part of the Storylines official organization. You can find this SDK. You can just quickly go to this URL, or you will of course have it linked from the landing page or from the developer tab. I'll show that in a moment. But thirdly, I have the Storylines API documentation. So these three things will be your best friend when you are trying to use the Storylines API in order to create something or build an application. So first of all, you have to get an API key, right? When I go here, I'm greeted with these guides. You of course have to kind of go through these guides to learn more about how the whole thing works. I'm going to go over some fundamentals, but the stuffs about creating a project, how you can add media to the project, these are some stuffs that you can learn a lot when you use the front end. So even if your main goal is to use the API, you can use the front end to get a hang of how things work around here. Because the API that the front end uses and the API exposed to the users and to the developers are almost a lot similar. So yeah, you get the idea. So if you don't have the API key yet, you can go to the account settings and you can go to the developer tab and create yourself an API key. I'll of course go through this guide if I was a new someone who does not know anything about how the Storylines API worked. So of course you have some examples, code snippets, and of course you will be linked to the API documentation and the Python SDK. Pretty useful stuff. Probably just right click, open it in a new tab. That would be really helpful for you. And of course this is a really helpful slide. Hold on, let me just close it so that I can continue with the tutorial. So yeah, if you don't have API access yet, you will see a button here. So you would have to request developer access and just fill up that form. Click on the button, fill up that form, will quickly give you access and you can just use your API key. But before that, you do have to create an API key using this button. You will get the key and the secret. Pretty basic stuff. The secret goes away after the first time because of security reasons, so make sure to kind of keep a copy or something like that. The link to the API documentation and everything is also here. You can actually open it using these two buttons as well. So if you did not open it from the guide slide, then all is not lost. You can just go from here. Anyway, moving on to how to kind of use the API. Right? Of course, you have to refer to the API documentation. It's your best friend. You have to read through all of these. You can actually go to the, hold on, where was the guide? I think it was the quick start guide. Yeah, you can see this diagram. This is pretty much how the thing works. So you do have to create a project in order to build a video. You have to import a lot of media into the project, either using our vector search toolings and all the other stuff that we provide. You can use that, or you can just manually include a lot of media in your project, then put a prompt there, build your storyboard, build your voiceover. If you don't want to build the voiceover, you can just skip that part, build the sequence, and finally render it out. So this is how the flow goes. And for all of these things that you see here, all the 6 points, we have similarly named routes here. So you can see here is the project route. You can create a project, you can create a folder and organize everything. You can add multiple files to the project. You can add multiple stock files to the project, multiple voiceovers to the project. You can also go one by one and add each singular media into the project if you want to go one by one. A lot of endpoints are here. You can just go through all of this to understand how it works. But this is something new that I should kind of mention. Very important. You do need to have a company detail preset So for example, we have 3 here. So 3 of the example ones that I created, you can, you do have to link a company detail preset to your project. And also you do have to link a branding preset to your project. You can see I think we have some public brands. So yeah, so before you want to create a project and before you want to go and render a video, you do have to go take your time and create a company detail preset for you. This is from where the AI learns about your company, because the V1 is a marketing focused video editor AI. So that is why you do need to have a company detail preset which knows get to know a lot of, like, the AI understands and learns about your company from the company detail preset. And similarly, the branding preset tells the AI about the branding stuff. So how the text will be aligned and how big the font will be, whether to include the outro, how the outro will be, will there be a background in the subtitle, and all of the stuff like that. I'll click on it and show you. So you can see the outro, subtitle, template, CTA. So yeah, you get the idea. You can disable the subtitle from here. So this helps you kind of to get the branding right. You can just save it away and you can reuse it in multiple videos. So you don't have to think about the branding again and again. If you just have to kind of create one. And if you don't want to go through the hassle of creating all of these, you can just use this from website button, drop your website here, and the AI. We have a really cool brand preset generator AI which scrapes your websites, understands all the branding elements, scrapes the logos and all those stuff. So it does the heavy lifting for you. Similarly, you can do the same thing for the company details. Pretty easy stuff. You have to have the from website button. This is what I meant. You can click on here, drop your website, and it will build a company detail preset for you. So once all of these are done, so I'll just show you, because things are similar to how it is in the front end. So if I kind of go to create a new project, you can see I have a company detail tab and the branding tab. By default, it takes in the default company detail and default branding, which I have marked as default. But you do want to kind of like assign a company detail preset and a branding preset to your project via the API when you create a project. So when you create a project, you do need to kind of do that. So yeah, you can see a company details ID, and I should also have a brand ID. So you just go through here and brand ID. You can see this is the thing. We do have a brand ID and we do have a company details ID. You do have to assign the ID after you have created those, and that's how you have completely created the project. And then you can just go and add the media. So yeah, all of those will be in the project route. So yeah, as I said, things will be similar to how it is in the front end. So if I go into this folder that we created, let me open this file. Let me open this up. So it just loads it. Yeah, you can see it also gives you a guide. So you just go through it, you will understand. So yeah. So the import tab is, the thing that we actually are doing when we add footages in the project. Here it is segregated as a separate tab, but in here it's in a single route. So you do have to use this API route in order to add a lot of media and footages. Anyway, so moving on, we have the prompt tab next, as you have seen in that diagram. So we do have to create a prompt. Similarly, this is the tab that this is how it looks in the front end. But if you're using the API, you do have to use that route in order to kind of create your prompt. Similarly, I'll move on to the storyboard. Similarly, create your storyboard, and some like here, this is how it looks in the front end. We have a separate route for that in the API. And the big thing here is that the ability to kind of talk to the storyboard AI, right? If I type something here, it will do it for me. So the way it works in the API is, I do have to find it. Hold on. We do have an update. Yeah, we have an update storyboard. No, not this one. Where is it? We have an update. Yeah, /update. This one. So we have a /update endpoint in the storyboard route, right? So how would you prompt the AI to change something? So what you have to do is that you can see this regeneration prompt parameter, body parameter here, which is a string. You have to give instructions here in order for the storyboard AI to follow and change your storyboard. So this is basically an update endpoint. So what you have to do is that you have to update the regeneration prompt, and then you have to use the redo storyboard endpoint to just do it. So you just set the regeneration prompt and trigger a redo using this endpoint, and that's how the AI knows what to do, because you have saved it in the regeneration prompt. Now the edited storyboard is something, if you you have to put the edited storyboard JSON in here if you have done some edit. So you don't have to do it always, because of course when you first create the storyboard using the /create button and you keep on polling it, because of course it will take some time to generate, you will get the final final edited storyboard in a JSON format, right? Now that if you want to just directly talk to the AI to modify it, you don't have to fill up this edited storyboard parameter, because this is you don't have a storyboard that you have edited, right? It's the original one. But let's say you have reordered a scene or something like that, then you have to kind of reorder it or change it however you want in the JSON. You don't have to call separate endpoints and other you don't have to go through complicated stuff to do minute changes. You can just directly change the JSON any way you want, right? And that's the advantage. And just put it in the edited storyboard body parameter. And of course it has a very, very strict schema validation. If you are doing something funky, then of course it will call you out and it will give you an error. But if you are not doing anything funky, then it will accept it if it is within the schema that it accepts. And you just have to kind of put it in the edit storyboard parameter and put a regeneration prompt, and boom, you have a new storyboard after you execute the redo endpoint. The same goes with the voiceover. The same goes with the sequence. So you probably know by now, after the storyboard you have to create the voiceover, and then you have to create this sequence. And here we call it the edit tab, but in the API we call it the sequence. You do have to create the sequence after that. But if you kind of directly try to create the sequence, it still works because voiceover is optional. But if you try to skip directly to the sequence of the edit tab without doing the storyboard, it won't work, right? Because you have to go one by one. It's like trying to render a video even without having anything important into the project. Of course, that won't work, right? You have to create a prompt. You have to import something into the project. You have to do the storyboard. You can skip the voiceover, but you have to go to the edit tab. Like here, the sequence route, you have to build the sequence. And then finally, you can do the render. The render is similarly, right? If all of them follows this pattern where there will be an update route, update endpoint, where you change all the parameters that you want to change. You can see a lot of things that we have in the brand presets are here as well. Why? Because you can override stuffs here. So let's say you are using a very old brand preset, but you do want to override some things, you can do it, right? It's not impossible. So you can do it. It's not a big deal. Anyway, so yeah, so you can use the update one to update the render settings and just do a redo, trigger a redo in order to actually start the render job. So the redo triggers the render job, /create triggers any job basically in storyboard voiceover sequence render for the first time. Redo triggers it for the second time after you have made some update. If you directly do it, it still works. But yeah, you can change anything using the /update endpoint if you want. So after that, after you render it, you will you will have the video. You can download it for the video. It's pretty basic. So that is how it works. You can actually get the video using the /gate. You will also get subtitles and stuff like that. But I do want to say something is, hold on, if you go to the quick start, not the quick start, hold on. By the way, do read through these. These actually talk a lot about what, how to kind of go about using it. If you think any information is not there, you can just hit us up in the support email and we'll add it. We are openly looking for feedback. Anyway, if I go to the introduction, you can see this AI parameters. So all of the AI stuffs, most of it has these parameters. So the deep think parameter is, you know what deep think is, like it just thinks a lot, basically reasoning, what we know it generally as. This is the reasoning toggle. If you set this to true, each and every AI API endpoints have this. So if you just set it to true, the AI will think a lot, consume a lot of resources though, take a lot of time, but it will, it has the potential to give you good results. Similarly, overdrive is something that we came up with. This is, you won't find it anywhere else. Overdrive is, it's really hard to explain what happens underneath the hood, but it boosts processing power of the AI a lot, and it also helps you to give you good results. Eco mode, if you want to, if you care for the environment, if you want to turn this on, it uses a low power mode, also gives you quick results. And web search, what web search is. Anyway, temperature, what this is. Everybody knows what this is. The length controls the video length, but this is just a suggestion. And it was not always this before, but we figured out that if we pressure the AI in order to constrict everything into a certain length, it does not perform that well. So that is why this is just length suggestion, but be aware that the AI will not always strictly listen to the length suggestion. The iteration is something that is really, really important. We do have a self-prompting mechanism and multiple iteration. The architecture that we have is super complex, but iteration is something that, so if you set it to 3, it will kind of go through a loop where it kind of we have an observer model which observes the results, how the results are. It prompts the main video model again, and it generates the edit once more, depending on what the observer model or the what it prompted the video model. So it basically goes through multiple iterations in order to make sure that whatever output you get is really, really good. So you can always set it to 2 if you want to have iteration enabled. If it is 1, then iterations won't be enabled because it is just a single thing, but it will give you quick results. So this is all of these things that I talked about. All the API routes are actually available in the SDK as well. And so what we did is that SDK is just a wrapper around this API, right? All SDKs are. So that is why basically if you want to use the API, let's say you don't want to use the Python SDK, if you're using some other programming language, right? You want to understand how the API calling works, how we should kind of supply certain information. Maybe you are not that confident when you read through the documentation. So you can actually open any of these files. You can open the sequence.py, for example, and you can actually look at how we're doing it in here. So you will actually learn about how to use the API, how to use the endpoints. So this is basically a good place to learn. But if you want to use the SDK, it's not that hard. It's really easy. For example, you can go into this examples folder, and we have a lot of examples. So hold on, let me show you something. For example, if I go to the project examples, you can see it's not that hard. So you just build a Storylinez object, supply the key, the organization ID. By the way, every operation, this is a really good thing I just remembered, every operation is organization specific, not user specific. So everything that happens is organization specific. So if you want the organization ID, just click on this button, it expands it. You can actually drop it down, manage organization, and for each and every organization, you can actually get the organization ID here. You can just copy it, because every operation is organization specific, not user specific, because it's possible to add multiple users to a single organization, and everyone can use their own API key, which is in fact user specific, to access and do anything in the organization. So every operation is organization specific, which needs the organization ID. So that's the thing. And what was I saying again? Yeah, I was actually going through the SDK. So yeah, you can actually go through the examples. Examples are really good. You can see a lot of examples of how to use the SDK. But if you want to learn more about how to use the API, you can actually dig down into the source folder. Now we have a script folder which is really good for new people. As you can see, we have a bulk uploader, we have an auto builder. The Jupyter notebook file that we have here is really useful. Let it load, then I can actually show it to you. So you can see this actually takes you through start to finish, like through all of the steps. You can see how to create a prompt, how to generate video ideas. So yeah, you can actually generate video ideas. You can auto search and auto populate your project. You can just do auto media addition in your project. You don't have to do anything manual. So the whole start to finish creation process can be automated in a single click, right? It's really good. So you can actually generate video ideas, how you can search for stock media, search for users media. Holy, there are a lot of you get the idea. So you just go through this go through the Jupyter notebook file or the Python file. You will find a script that can actually create videos from start to finish. Really helpful stuff. And if you want more guides, you can actually drop this guide folder down, and we have a lot of different guides. For example, how you can make an API key, how to create a project and stuff like that. That will also help you out. So yeah. So just to summarize, the SDK file, SDK repository, and the API documentation will be your best friend. And the best way to learn about how Storylinez works is to use the front end to create certain projects. Because if you create the front end to create certain projects, you will learn the flow, and the flow is almost a lot similar for the stateful API. So yeah, that is it. So yeah, happy creating. If you haven't sent a request for the API yet, send it to us. We'll accept it. And any suggestion you can throw at us will be really useful.